Hi, my name is Terry Miller, Presidential Director with Take Shape for Life, and I'm very excited to do this quick training for you today. It's going to be about 20 minutes, and it's going to be on the reason that you would want to use client tracking folders and understanding the process. This is actually a two-phase training, so we're going to do the basic reason for client tracking folders today, and then in another training we'll do the other one. What I wanted to talk to you mostly about the client tracking folders is, first of all, the brilliance of Dr. Henderson when he put these together. This system makes it easy for you as a new coach to move your clients onto the habits of health, which is really what we're all about. So the purpose is mostly client support, understanding how to take care of your clients and how to move them onto the habits of health. The second part is actually business related, and it helps you actually track your volume and move your business forward. But we're going to talk about that later, but mostly I want to get you to get down the basics. The main thing that I want to share with you is everything that you have, everything that you need to move your clients forward are supplied in the client tracking folders. It came in your business in a box, and that, along with the blueprint for success, is going to just utilizing those tools is reading it and learning about it. In your client tracking folders are instructions on how to use the folders, and if the main thing is, I would suggest that you read it cover to cover and refer back to it often. What I have found is that maybe after you start your first 5 clients, when you have a point of reference, you will understand it a little bit more as you go through it. So, and they come in the instructions. So the main thing is the client tracking folders is for use for people who are on, have placed their order and are on program and moving through the habits of health. So once you have a person that you've been speaking to about the program and they have said, yes, I'm ready to get started, I want to get healthy now, the first thing that you do is you fill out their client tracking sheet. And these client tracking sheets are really important to be filled out in its entirety, but the interesting thing about it is it's not necessarily an intake form. It's more something that you're going to get the majority of the information via conversation. You're going to be talking with your clients quite a bit that first week after they get their food, and you're going to be getting the majority of the information that way. There's a couple things on the client tracking sheet that's very important that you get as you place their order. The first one is obviously their name and their address and their email address and the best phone number to reach them at. But next is their occupation, because that will determine their activity level, and it's important that you know that, determining what type of food that you order. The next thing is their exercise level, so because you'll need to know how to coach them on that. And then the last thing is that I think it's really important is it's the question that says, why do you want to lose weight? And I actually, I'm voting for that to be switched to, why do you want to get healthy? But, so the thing is you want to ask them, to have them tell you the 3 reasons why they want to get healthy. Why are they making a decision to choose Take Shape for Life? And you want to write that down. And everything else you can get as you were conversing with them in those that first week of conversation. So, folder number 1, again, just a little reminder that what's on the outside of each folder is designed so that what's on the outside of each folder is what you educate them on while they're in that folder. Again, just for a little bit of clarity, every client that you have, you fill out a client tracking sheet. You only have 1 client tracking sheet per client, and you have 1 set of client tracking folders for your whole business. Okay, so after you place the client's order, you fill out, you put their client tracking sheet in folder number 1. The reason people are going to be in folder number 1 is 1, either you're waiting for their food, or 2, they're in their first 4 days on the program. You're getting them into the fat burning stage, or they have been on program and they have gone off program, and you need to get them through the first 4 days again. So the way that, again, what's on the outside of the folders is what you need to work with them on. Let's see. The other thing that's great about the client tracking folders is inside of folder 1 is all the numbers and resources you need to contact Take Shape for Life. So there is, so you don't need to be searching for them. It's very important that you keep your client tracking folders with you at all times, at least folder 1 through 3. You're going to keep those with you at all times. So you're going to put your client in folder 1 through 4. In the first 4 days, you're going to talk to them every day. And your hope is that you're going to talk to them person to person, obviously a telephone call. And if by chance you don't connect with them, go ahead and leave a message, a detailed message. For example, like if they're on day 2, you would say, gosh, I've tried to reach you a couple times today and we've missed each other, but you're on day 2, which means, in a couple days, day 4, you're going to wake up a happy camper. And but just remember to have all 5 of your MetaFast meals 2.5 to 3 hours apart. Make sure you drink 80 to 100 ounces of water, and have one of your lean and greens that's detailed out in the Quick Start Guide. And so you just want to leave a little tip for them, but you want to make sure that you converse with them. Hopefully it's in phone call to phone call in the first 4 days. Then the way they graduate from folder 2 into folder 2 is when they're in the fat burning stage. When you speak to them on day 4 and they wake up and they have more energy, they're low hunger, they have, that's how you're going to know they're in the fat burning stage. And so that's how they graduate to folder 2. Another thing though that's really important, I apologize, I did mention this, before you graduate them to folder 2, is to make sure that you are checking off everything you need to be doing on their client tracking sheet. On the back of it, it talks about that you told them to take their before and after picture, that you place their order, that you talk to them on day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and just make sure you notate that. And that will give you comfort if by chance they are struggling through a program or not successful on program. If you can look back on that sheet and know that you did your job, you did exactly what you needed to do for them, you will just know that maybe they weren't ready, but at least you'll know exactly what you did. And something else, a little side note before we graduate them to folder 2, is that I think is really important to mention, is that make sure that you're supporting your clients with excellence, but you're empowering versus enabling. If a client calls you and like maybe on day 2 and asks you, oh, can I have green beans? Of course, as a health coach, you know that that's allowable and you know that it's a cup and a half, but that's not going to really actually empower them. So what you'd want to do is ask them to grab their Quick Start Guide, tell them to keep it with them 24/7, that's kind of their MetaFast Bible, and have them look in the Quick Start Guide and see what it says there. And then, of course, they're going to know that it says that they can have a cup and a half. And then, the next day, if they think, gosh, can I have tomatoes? They're going to know to look in their Quick Start Guide. So I think that's important to make sure that you're empowering, not enabling. So after they're in the fat burning stage, yahoo, they're happy, happy, happy campers, then you graduate them to folder 2. And folder 2, you are educating them, continuing to educate them on the habits of health. It's important that as you're moving through this, that you're, kind of spoon feeding them the information. By the time they're in folder 2, they're getting into that teachable moment. They feel great. They've probably already lost 5 pounds. They're excited about that. So you just want to keep up that education. So while they're in folder 2, a couple great things are going to happen. Is one, you're going to be learning a whole lot about them. Were they coachable? How successful were they on program? On the back of the client tracking sheet is the attributes of a good health coach. And they're listed down there at the bottom. And what I suggest is that you do it on a scale of 1 to 10 on how coachable they were. Were they true to the program? A variety of different things. But notate that while you're talking to them on a scale of 1 to 10. And when you start offering the coach opportunity, that will be really helpful that you took those notes. So one, they're going to be in that teachable moment. They're going to be probably going to start referring people to you, and it's important to make sure that you teach them how to refer. Because as far as they know, they're eating MetaFast meals, and so when they are feeling great, they have wonderful energy and super excited about this fabulous program they're on. When somebody asks them what they're doing, they're immediately, of course, going to say MetaFast because that's what they're putting in their mouth. But it's really important to make sure that you educate them, to tell them that they are they're on the Take Shape for Life program, and they have a free health coach, and you would love to have their health coach call them and get them answer any questions that they may have for them. And the beauty to that, you want to make sure you educate the client that they can get a referral credit for that, but also, maybe between the two of you, you could save someone's life. People are motivated to refer to you for a variety of different reasons. But the amazing things that happens with your business is when you take good care of your clients and you teach them how to refer correctly, within 3 to 4 months, probably 50% of your business is built by referrals. And that's actually how you can tell if you're doing a good job coaching, is if people are referring. The other thing that's going to happen while they're in folder 3 is they're getting ready to place their second order. And so one of the things, remembering the things that you were going to talk to them about while they're in folder 2 is on the outside of folder 2, and one of those is their next food selection. So you want to ask them what their favorite foods are, and let's say it's hot chocolate, and you just say, great, okay, when we place your next order, we'll make sure that that gets on there, and I'm going to teach you how to do it. What we do is we always place our clients' first order. You want to make sure that they get enough food, that they get tied to you as their health coach with their ID number. So if at all possible, which we do for probably 99% of our clients, we place their first order, and then we educate them how to place their second order. Sometimes walk them through it on their second order and make sure by their third order they know how to adjust their order on their own. So after they place their second order, they go into folder 3. And this is the next part that's going to take a little bit of explanation. On the client tracking sheet, you placed one of the lines at the top. It says their batch date or their process date, and that is the date that you actually placed their first order. So I suggest that you write that in pencil, because everybody adjusts their batch dates, their process dates, and so when you move them into folder 3, you're gonna file this folder chronologically by batch date. While they're in folder 3, you're going to contact them about once a week. I suggest that you have them choose a day that works best for them. What is their weigh-in day? And you try to empower them to contact you. But if you don't hear from them, you want to make sure that you call them. So again, what's on the outside of folder 3 is what you're educating them on. Basically, you're moving them on to the habits of health, and you're getting them to be aware of the choices that they're making and what they're doing. Also, you're assessing whether clients are going to be either a referral source to you or they're going to be a potential health coach, and that's something that you get to assess as you're doing that. It's really important, again, to make sure that you take notes on them. If you're working your business with a business partner, it's important that you take notes on what you talk with the client. Try not to remember it in your head. Just try to take notes, not copious notes. Just take quick little notes so you know what's going on, and make sure that on the checklist of the important things that you want to cover with your clients, that you check that off so that you have record of that. And so when they're in folder 3, they're going to be filed by batch date. And when you will be receiving 7-day and 4-day notices of your client's batch date. So this is how you'll know if they by chance have changed their batch date. When you receive let's say on the first day of the month you receive a batch date reminder, a process date reminder for one of your clients. And so if you received a 7-day notice on the 1st, their batch date would be on the 8th. So then you would go to folder 3 and look on the 8th day, and if their batch date is there, you would know that they have not changed their batch date. If by chance their batch date has changed, it won't be there, and then you just need to find it and scoot it into the 8th of the month. The reason you want to do this is, one, if they're moving their batch date forward quite a bit, you're going to know that they're not actually on program. So you need to check with them, because you can tell by when they're ordering how much food they have left, or by how much food they have left by how they're on program, and then you'll know how to coach them appropriately. The other thing is that it'll also help you track your volume. One of your goals for you to reach, because we have a lot of people to get healthy, is to get to executive director as quick as you can. And executive director is when you're helping about 25 people on program. So you want to know what clients you have on program, and what clients and how many clients you need to go meet and assist to get healthy. So when you receive the 4-day notice for your clients, you again just do the same thing. Go to the client tracking folder number 3 and see if where they are, and just move them back in there. You can. There's a couple little things that I would suggest that you do as you are getting your clients started. The first thing is you're going to sign them up. Like I said, you're going to sign them up yourself. And what I would suggest is that you use, for their username, is you use their email address. Because that's kind of what technology does now, and it's easy for them to remember. And then also I suggest you use the word welcome for their password in small letters. And there's nothing in their B-Slim that anybody can access that is private, or you can't get to their credit card or anything, so it is okay for you to know their username and password. I don't think I've ever actually had anyone actually change their username and password. So when you are tracking your volume, if you know that you have somebody that you're on the 25th of the month and you have 3 more batch dates, you can log in on them and see what their order amount is, so you can help assess where you're going. This is a little bit advanced for this level of trading, but I just want you to realize from the beginning how important it is to do this pretty systematically, how to do this. The other thing that I want to say is that if you're talking with a client and they have gone off program for whatever reason, one, I think it's important at the beginning in days 1 through 4, and when you're starting to set up with them, that you let them know the repercussions of going off program or putting something else in their mouth that's not, on program, and so they get to make the choice. I always find that it's best to be educated on what's going to happen. I usually just tell my clients, it's your choice, it's your program, it's your life, you can do what you want, but let me just tell you what's going to happen. If you have anything that's outside the program, a piece of bread or anything like that, you're going to be hungry for the next 3 days, you're not going to be losing weight, depending upon what their motivators were to get healthy. So if anybody goes off program, you move them back to folder 1, and get them going on program again. And then you just coach them again right through the first 4 days, and then after through the first 4 days, then you move them back to folder 3. So you can see how systematically it's pretty simple. Folder 1 is it's kind of the baby steps, just assisting them get used to the program, answering any of their questions. I have found that most people, within the first 4 days, they fully understand the program. When I'm talking with them the first 4 days, I let them know right away too that it is, when I call them and I talk to them and I'm like, how are you doing? And they say fine, that fine isn't an answer. I always make sure that I ask them a little bit more. So great, okay, so you had all 5 of your Medifast meals, how did you like? And they go, oh, but I didn't have all 5, I wasn't hungry. So that's not fine. So you need to probe a little bit. Don't ever accept fine as an answer, and I kind of tell them that up front. So so they're in their first 4 days getting into the fat burning stage on day 4. How they graduate into folder 2 is when they are in the fat burning stage. When they're in folder 1, you talk to them every day for the first 4 days. When they are in folder 2, you talk to them twice a week. You can set up whether you call them or they call you, or whether it's email or whatever. But again, in this stage, they're in their teachable moment. You're talking to them about their future goals, what habits they're willing to change and what they want to do. You're also talking to them about their food selection for their next order, and you're also talking to them about people who are noticing their success on the program and referring to you. Usually by the time they're in folder 2, you have a pretty good indication whether this is someone you want to sponsor onto your team or not. Okay? And then how they graduate out of folder 2 is when they place their second order. Okay, and then you have folder 3, and you move them on to, you file this by their batch date, chronologically by their process date or their batch date. And we talked about all the different reasons to do that. So I'm going to stop this training for now so that, and it'll be phase 2. But as a new coach, this is really the main things that you need to know about taking care of your clients. And again, read the instructions that come with it. Look in your Blueprint for Success. It will give you a lot more information, good scripts and everything. So have a lot of success and go out and get America healthy.